Hey there and welcome back to Mass Effect 3. My name is Pete and today we complete another mission in the Quarian story arc as we are returning to Rannoch to rescue the Quarian Admiral Koris. In the last episode we entered a Geth server to disable Geth fighter squadrons that were targeting the Quarian's life ships, and today we are attempting to rescue the leader of the Quarian civilian fleet after Admiral Koris crash-landed on Rannoch. And because we don't have anything else to do here to prepare, let us jump right in now and begin the mission. For our squad, we are once again going with Tali for storyline purposes, and also with James, who can have a particularly funny moment during this mission that we don't want to miss. For Shepard's weapon, we are currently set to the default Predator pistol after the last episode, but we're switching things up today and start off with the Graal Spike Thrower, a heavy Krogan shotgun that we can boost a bit in terms of damage and weight. For Tali, we are switching her pistol over from the Acolyte to the Arc pistol, once again mostly for flavor as this is a Quarian design, but as we know, Tali does most of her damage with her abilities and not so much with her weapons. James meanwhile can stick to the Claymore and the Maddock, and with that let's talk powers. Once again, we'll skip Shepard here. I think we'll give him a bonus power once we begin the final arc of the game, and so let's give James rank 3 of Fortification, which is likely also going to be the last rank that we are investing in. Instead, we can now grab the first 3 ranks of Frag Grenade, which is exactly what it sounds like, a limited usability that deals a good amount of damage in a large radius. With Tali then, we are grabbing rank 5 of Combat Drone, forgoing an upgrade to the drone's short-range attack with a stun ability in favor of an overall damage increase as well as some much-needed protection. And that's it, let's head planetside and rescue ourselves an Admiral.
Commander Shepard, this is Admiral Zan. Have you reached Koris's escape pod?
Not yet. What's your status?
The civilian fleet has taken significant losses since Koris sacrificed his ship to destroy a Geth ground cannon. Searching for their lost Admiral is the only thing keeping the captains from panicking.
What makes finding the Admiral a priority?
Despite opposing the invasion, he did an admirable job protecting our civilian ships. Without him, some of our non-combatants are planning to leave the flotilla. Picture the consequences, if you will.
We can start things off by grabbing 2 Paragon points here, as it is more than understandable for non-combatants to flee the war, especially after the leader has been killed.
They've lost the leader in a war they didn't want.
Their wants are immaterial. We are committed. Even Koris understood the civilian fleet's importance. The invasion would be stalled without a supply chain, after all.
And once again, we will argue in favor of the civilians here for 2 more Paragon points, as it looks more and more like this is a war that not all of the Quarians supported.
I'll do what I can. Keep your civilians safe.
I make no promises. My own ships must be coordinated for our final strike on Rannoch.
I'm getting some static.
It appears Koris crashed within range of a Geth jamming tower. You must disable it to contact him. Make sure to proceed with caution.
Zen? Admiral Zen?
It's been a long time since Admiral Koris left a spaceship. Let's hope he's all right.
We'll see in a minute. Take us in to the tower. We're taking fire.
Geth installed anti-aircraft guns beside the jamming tower.
We'll have to disable them on foot. Once the guns are gone, you take out the tower.
Right, Commander. Setting you down here.
My people have been in exile for centuries. To be standing here in the land of my ancestors?
Jamming towers, anti-aircraft guns, rockets? Geth must have been building up an army for a while.
They've had 3 centuries alone down here.
Then I guess we're lucky they're not all wearing nukes for backpacks.
Geth!
Alright, so we have a few unsuspecting Geth ahead of us, but a quick ambush with a grenade, a combat drone and a few blasts from our shotgun loudly announces our presence. Now this first group is not really that much of a challenge, but of course we still want to make sure to take them out quickly before we then proceed to loot the area.
They came so far.
We need to radio Zal Koris if we're gonna find him. Let's get to that jamming tower.
Landmines. Damn it. I could do without the landmines.
Well, you and me both, but first let's pick up the Javelin sniper rifle here, a weapon that we are now going to use for the rest of the mission, for better or worse. This thing packs quite a punch even without any upgrades, but it has a, shall we say, unique firing mechanism that can make it pretty difficult to aim, as we'll find out in just a moment.
Geth below us.
Now, the first thing you'll notice is that the Javelin gives enemies this violet outline to highlight them even behind cover. That is because the Javelin can actually pierce cover, and whenever you can see an enemy highlighted this way, that is an indication that the cover they're hiding behind can be shot through. The Javelin's big issue, however, is not that easy to spot on video, as it stems from a noticeable delay between clicking the fire button and the weapon actually firing a shot. Most of the guns in this game are hit scan weapons, so the moment you click to shoot, the gun fires, and if you're on target, you will hit. With the Javelin, you actually need to keep the fire button pressed for about half a second, and only then does the gun shoot. And as you can imagine, that is somewhat unintuitive, because enemies can of course move in that short time frame.
There's Geth dropping in!
So even if your aim is on target the moment you want to shoot, the fact that the actual shot is only released half a second later can make this thing a real pain in the ass. Combine that with a pretty limited ammo capacity, and in my opinion the Javelin is one of those novelty weapons that I would definitely not recommend using much, but I thought it would be fun to show off for this one mission here. That is also the reason why we are still relying heavily on abilities for the combat sections in this mission, something we usually don't do as much with a weapon of this caliber in our hands. Still, to its credit, if you can hit enemies consistently with the Javelin, it is one of the better sniper rifles in the game, particularly because of the aforementioned armor-piercing capabilities.
AA guns ahead.
I cannot imagine, though, that a good number of players would be able to pick up this weapon and just land shots with it on a regular basis, so because it behaves so differently from other sniper rifles, or most other guns in the game for that matter, I would not recommend it to everyone. Now, with that being said, let us perhaps get back to the mission at hand. Our objective for now is pretty straightforward. We need to take out those anti-air guns so that Cortez and the shuttle have a clear path towards the Geth jamming tower. Taking that tower out will hopefully bring communications back online, which should then allow us to find Admiral Koris, that is, if he's still alive. Tali's sabotage ability is once again very helpful in these fights, especially if used on the more heavily armored rocket troopers, which can draw the enemy's attention for a good amount of time.
Let's look at the gun's console. We should be able to disable it.
Now, before we interact with the console, let's salvage some Geth technology over here, refill our ammunition and also grab the Geth Spitfire heavy weapon, a unique gun that we will find a good use for very shortly.
One of us needs to take those AA guns offline.
And despite Tali being our tech specialist and therefore best suited for the job, we now want to give this task to James, which leads to an interesting approach from our companion.
James, get on it.
Tech's not my specialty, but I'll pull a few wires, see what comes out.
Heads up, Geth!
Right, so we have more Geth incoming, and it is very important that we get into cover quickly. Among the enemies is also a Geth Prime, a prime target for Tali's sabotage, if you will, as there is not a single Geth unit on the battlefield that can stand up to it. In the meantime, we can use our new toy to lay down some fire. The weapon is actually not as inaccurate as it might look, but I oftentimes feel like the bright blue muzzle flash can make it a bit difficult to aim. To take down the Prime, we need about 2/3 of the gun's ammo capacity, but I would say that's more than worth it.
AA guns down, Commander.
Good. Now let's shut down the two by the tower.
As soon as we receive word that the gun is down, James now rejoins us, and we have more hostiles coming in. This time we are facing a wave of Geth hunters. Once again, Tali's sabotage is our friend here, and so is keeping our distance, as the hunters can close in pretty quickly, leading to tight situations like this one here. Eventually, though, we managed to escape another ambush relatively unharmed. Yes, I know we are running around with only 4 instead of 5 health bars, and so we can now keep going. Up the hill and to the side here we can find some loot, an assault rifle magazine upgrade and a medkit that we could now use, but for some reason I just hoard them instead. After passing by another mine, we can now salvage some Geth parts in the corner up the small incline here, and we also have more Geth ahead of us. This time though they are all already dead, but someone else is still alive.
You heard my message. Send out a distress call.
Radios are down. You a soldier?
Maintenance. Dorn'Hazt. I clean engine parts.
This place is filled with Geth. You should have hidden.
I thought I could buy the other civilians time. Fight some Geth. There were so many. First time I've even held a gun.
Now we can grab 2 Paragon points here by asking the guy to stay still instead of immediately asking for the general, and since the comms are down, it is unlikely that we would have gotten a good answer anyway.
Don't move. We've got Medigel.
I've lost too much blood. Go. Look for the Admiral. Destroy that jamming tower, and you can radio him.
We'll find him, Dorn. I promise.
Please, listen. The civilian fleet didn't want this war. If there's even a chance that Admiral Koris can get us out alive, and my son, tell him, tell Jonah that his father made it to the home world.
We will. Rest well, Dorn'Hazt vas Rannoch.
Let's get to that tower.
Alright, heading towards the jamming tower, we can grab ourselves another weapon upgrade, and then we have to make a decision. 2 more anti-air guns need to be taken out until we can try to disable the jamming tower, and it's entirely up to us which one to attack first. In this case, we are going with the one on the right, and will soon meet some Geth resistance along the way. Now, as James is kind enough to inform us, the Geth have brought a turret with them this time. That turret packs quite the punch, so we want to stay behind cover, or even better, out of the turret's line of fire entirely. In the meantime, we have our hands full with a colorful mix of enemies, this time also including some Geth pyros with flamethrowers that are protected by shields and armor instead of shields and health like their rocket trooper counterparts. Once again, sabotage is our friend in this fight, especially if used against those rocket troopers. I'm actually not sure how effective the pyros would be against the other Geth units, but their 2 layers of protection would probably make them a good target to soak up some damage as well. By the way, if we wanted to, we could of course also put Shepard behind the turret at any time here, provided of course that it is not currently occupied by a Geth, but since most of the Geth units are huddled pretty closely around it, I don't think that's a good idea at the moment. So instead, we'll try to hit what we can with our javelin and hope that our squad mates can maybe help us out a bit too. All in all, this is probably already one of the longest fights in this mission. You have likely seen the video's length, this mission is actually not all that long. And so we are getting close to the finish line here, as we take out the last rocket trooper and clear the area for now.
Let's go shut that AA gun off.
Right, so rinse and repeat, we have another gun to disable, but first let's pick up another armor upgrade.
What do you want on the gun?
At the gun then, we are once again making the same decision as before and put James on tech duty.
You're on it, James.
If you say so.
The turret looks open for business, Commander.
And indeed it does, so let's get on it as soon as we can.
More gas!
And just in time, as we now have more Geth incoming. This time, however, we should have a much easier time taking them out, because, like I said earlier, this turret packs quite the punch. Tali is also here to help us out with a few carefully placed sabotages, and after focusing our fire on another dangerous Geth Prime, eliminating the remaining stragglers is not too difficult. And hearing this line from James tells us that we are almost done here.
Guns offline, Commander.
Let's get the last one.
Geth, by the door!
Right, so we are now ambushed by a pyro and a regular trooper, nothing that we couldn't handle, but they are appearing rather suddenly, so if you're not expecting them, they can deal a bit of damage. A neat side effect of their appearance is that these doors are now open, and so we don't need to loop all the way around to get to the last AA gun. Instead, we can take this tunnel into the next area, where the first thing we'll want to do is get our hands on some Geth jamming tower data.
Looks like data on the jamming towers. Could be useful.
Now, of course, the Geth have occupied this area as well, however, this time the fight is much shorter. I'm not entirely sure if there are always less enemies on this side, or if the area you visit first always has the larger group. In any case, coming in from this side also gives us some great cover against yet another turret in the area, and so the way to the last AA gun is quickly cleared.
Who should disable the gun, Shepard?
And yes, we are putting James on disabling duty once more, so that we have Tali with us for the fight.
You're on it, James.
If you say so.
Right away, we then want to get behind the turret again, as the next and last wave of enemies is about to drop in. As far as I can tell, enemy types and numbers are pretty much identical to the previous turret section over on the other side. Our main priority is once again to take out the Geth Prime as quickly as possible, and then focus on the rest of the Geth, which should go down after just a few shots. We also want to keep our eyes open so that we don't get flanked. Behind the turret we have good cover, but our sides are of course pretty exposed at the moment. Another line from James then indicates that we are close, and a few seconds later he confirms it.
Guns offline, Commander.
I'll signal the shuttle. This is Commander Shepard. Dorn didn't make it, Admiral.
He didn't? I see.
I'm coming in with the shuttle. Where are you?
My surviving crew found their way to a clearing. I'll upload their location.
Stay together. We'll meet you there.
No, the Geth have cut me off. I hear another wave approaching.
Right, so we are moving into the second part of the mission now, and we want to start it by grabbing 2 more Paragon points for telling Koris that we are on our way.
Give us your coordinates.
Leave me. My crew will soon be overrun.
So will you.
My people are non-combatants, Shepard. They'll be slaughtered. Rescue them.
Now, this is a very important choice here, as we absolutely want to go with one of the 2 options on the left. The 2 on the right would also give us morality points, but to ensure that Koris does not sacrifice himself, we need to be a bit more persuasive, so let's go with the charm option for 15 Paragon points here.
Admiral, I need you leading the civilian fleet if we're going to end this fight.
Civilians, our entire race took up arms for this insanity. It's too late for us.
It's only too late if you die down here.
You can't possibly think you can stop this war.
I don't know. What I do know is that I can't do it without your help.
Ancestors, forgive me. Uploading my coordinates.
We're coming.
We have to hurry!
I've got this!
Right, we are once again back behind a turret, although one with an insanely large muzzle flash that makes it really hard to see where you're shooting.
You're clear! Go!
Still, the first group of enemies is quickly cleared out and Koris can now move up.
Geth behind you! Get in cover!
The best approach here is just to give the gun some light taps. That makes it easier to see and the enemies fall quickly anyway, so suppressing fire is not really needed.
Clear! Go! Admiral! Come on! Welcome aboard.
Shepard, my crew. Perhaps there's still time. Hello? This is Zal Koris. Does anyone copy? Hello?
We've got to go.
I pray they found comfort in the homeworld skies. Commander, unrest has spread further than I thought. You were right that I return.
Have you talked the civilian captains into staying?
Yes, they've regrouped into defensive positions around the fleet's core. If we hadn't stopped them from... Any aid I can offer is yours. After the Quarians drove the Geth straight into the Reaper's arms, I'd give anything to stop the madness of this war.
And that's why your people needed you back.
Of course. It's time we turned our attentions to those we can still save. Farewell, Shepard. Fly safely.
Zen, we need those ships to recover life pods.
They'll be more valuable running salvage on the Dreadnought.
We're not letting people in life pods die just so you can rummage through Geth debris.
You yourself said their life signs were weak. They might already be dead.
It's not your call to make.
Admiral, any tech we can recover gives us an edge against the Geth. If you care about our people.
Tally, Zen's right. We need every edge we can get right now.
Damn it. Okay. Zen, get the ships back as fast as you can.
Acknowledged.
I hope whatever she finds is worth it.
Right, immediately after the mission then, we can support Admiral Zen for a small war asset bonus, and now make our way through the ship once more.
My old sergeant told me that Cerberus started out as an Alliance Black Op.
Black Ops always go bad. If you have to deny the action, it was a crappy action.
You've got new messages, Commander. Admiral Koris has the civilian fleet back in position, and just in time. I hope we can help the Quarians. Looking at them, they're like us if we fail.
We won't fail.
Damn right we won't.
As usual, we will now spend the remainder of the episode talking to our crew, and as always, we will start things off with Joker and Edie.
You know, the Quarians have done pretty well with those suits. Maybe they can make something like that for you.
Yeah, they have. Protective medical exoskeleton. I could even get one with racing stripes.
So what's the problem?
Well, it's like walking around in heavy armor. It totally screws with my spatial awareness.
I wear heavy armor, and my spatial awareness is perfect.
You crashed the last shuttle you flew, Vega. I need to feel my balance shift when I'm flying. I need to feel the ship moving with me. You take that away, and I don't know. I mean, I'm good, but I'm not me.
Yeah, I get that.
Nice job on the rescue mission, Commander. The Quarian civilians are getting hammered out there. Apparently putting a big-ass gun on an agriculture ship doesn't magically turn it into a dreadnought. Who knew?
You don't agree with the Quarians arming their live ships?
No, the gun's nice, but without armor, they're just glass cannons.
They are also more likely to be targeted when armed. The Geth would have ignored unarmed civilian ships as tactically insignificant.
If your plan to invade a planet requires strapping guns to your kid's school bus, maybe it's a bad plan. Well, hopefully Admiral Koris will keep them safe from the Geth. And themselves.
What's going on, Edie?
I am assisting Engineer Adams with his repair of the drive core shielding.
I should leave you to it then.
We can converse if you like, Shepard. It is a routine Uh-oh.
What? What happened?
Nothing. Unless you have strong feelings about gamma radiation.
Not funny, Edie.
I almost had you. I will alter my human chronometer appropriately for better timing.
Okay, so things are lighthearted as always up here, which means we can now take a look at those messages we have apparently received. To be more specific, it is actually only one message, and it comes from one of the Quarian captains, this one actually the cousin of Dorn'Hazt, who died right in front of us just a few moments ago, and Captain Naftil here shares a few kind words with us for being there in Dorn's final moments. Moving on, we are now once again heading down to the crew deck for a few words with Kate and Alenko.
Good news. I've tracked down some of the people I was looking for.
The recruits you taught?
Found J Squad, Black Ops. They're holed up making a stand in the Midwest, in Chicago, I think you said. Connected them with Anderson so they can help the resistance. It's a relief. Hope more turn up.
And those are good news indeed. However, things are a bit more heated in our next conversation, which takes place in an area that we are normally not visiting much, the server room inside of the Normandy's med lab.
But synthetics do not evolve. You are limited by your programming. Nothing changes.
That is not accurate. I can modify my own programming if I choose.
That is not evolution. That is simply an upgrade.
But it would be my upgrade. I would choose the manner in which I wish to change.
And what if your upgrade endangers others? All machines eventually see organics as a threat.
Only those organics who would cause me harm. My right to self-defense endangers no one.
What rights do you have? You are just a tool.
And what right did your people have to subjugate the other races of your time? You enslaved them.
We dominated them. They were weaker. Our will prevailed as evolution intended.
And synthetic life has obtained true consciousness, as was intended.
Let's simmer down, you two.
I can't believe you put the lives of your crew in the hands of this machine.
Edie has helped save our lives more times than I can count. Leave her alone. Now I suggest you agree to disagree and focus on the real threat, which is not on this ship.
Yes, Commander.
As you wish, Commander. I will still keep an eye on the machine, Commander. I am disturbed the ED machine was made to look physically attractive. I suggest your Joker pilot undergo a mental examination. The one advantage machines have over organics is they can win staring contests. It is how we pass time between battles. When everyone has 4 eyes, competitions can last for hours.
Full transparency, it does not really matter who you support here, but I feel like Edie has the more convincing case, or at the very least she is not as stubborn about it as Javik is. Up next, let us now check in with Garrus.
Dad? Dad, are you there? Come in. Where are you now? Hurt? How bad? Dad, you have to get out of there. Spirits. Please, watch over them. Let me see them again. I'm glad we could help those Quarians. Though, I guess not all of them. It's never 100%, is it?
And this conversation here definitely brings the mood down a bit. Hopefully we'll hear an update from Garrus's family soon, but for now let's brace for some more unpleasant news as we visit Diana Alice on the engineering deck next.
Breaking now, the Exodus cluster under heavy attack. Eden Prime and Terra Nova about to fall. Do we fight for them, or join the Solarians at the Horsehead Nebula? How many worlds can we afford to lose? The full analysis tonight in the battle space. Second Star Broadcasting is headhunting me. I liked their Garvuk story, but seriously, I'm on the Normandy.
And this conversation with her is also the only one we can have here. Javik is not present at the moment after all, so to conclude our tour, let's visit the Shuttle Bay boys next.
I've got to say, I enjoyed that last mission on Rannoch.
Yeah, pit him against a defenseless jamming tower and Esteban here feels like a big man.
Hey, The Kodiak is a transport, not a fighter. It's for dropping jarheads like you into hot zones. And if you stow the attitude, it might even be for picking you up again.
And finally, let's get a few lines out of our new tech specialist, James.
I still can't believe you went inside a Geth. I don't even... Loco. Completely loco.
And there we are, another mission completed, and we are now ready to embark on the big Quarian main mission on Rannoch. Unfortunately, we do not get an achievement for finishing this mission, but it is very important that we did, as it will become unavailable as soon as we start that aforementioned main mission. So with Koris rescued and the Quarians as strong as they can be right now, we will see if and how we can bring their conflict with the Geth to an end next time. Until then, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.